Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often trying rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have a Craigellachie 19-year-old. Ooh, whiskey base number 232526. 46%. 190 to 200 euros. Ouch. Batch number 046140, and therefore we know that it was actually bottled on the 19th of April 2023. So we have distillery wood. I'm just going to call it this. Ex-Bourbon barrels, hogsheads, whatever they had. And this has a finish and first fill sherry and first fill bourbon. According to websites, 50% in each of these. For how long? Who knows? All right, now the bottle, I must commend them on one thing and reprimand them on maybe one or two things. The first thing that I must admit is, hey, the bottle says no chill filtration and natural color. Yay! That's what we want, all right? We want this. No chill filtering, natural color. So it is 46%. It is 19 years of age. It does say here, I'm guaranteed 19 years in oak, special reserve, Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey. Now, I like Craigellachie. I like the distillery. I like their beginners, entry-level whiskey with 13 years of age. Over here in Germany, 40 to 45 euros. Absolutely a bargain. Bacardi, don't listen to me. Keep that price, okay? Then we move up to the 17-year-old product, which I unfortunately don't have as well at the moment. We're between 90 and 100 euros. 2 years ago, I could buy it for 68 to 72 euros regularly. And now it's fairer price, 17-year-old with 95 euros. What I do have here, and I'm going to compare it to, is the 13-year-old Bas Amérique barrel finish, also 46%. Interesting enough, it says here no chill filtering, but the word natural color does not appear anywhere on the label or on the tin. So here it does. So they are learning. They understand a tiny little bit. Bacardi is the parent company. The local company in Scotland is called Dewar's. And so they finally have listened to us, the nerds of the whiskey community, and we demand that we know that it's natural color and that it's non-chilled filtered at 46%. Now, they're 17. My last bottle didn't say it. My 13-year-old didn't say it. There are such amazing, shocking color differences between the batches. It has to be natural color. I just assume Craigellachie has been natural color because one will be very pale, the next one will be very dark, and they're not doing it for keeping the same level of coloring there. No, they're just throwing stuff out there, and so that's okay. So they have it now on the label, very, very good. Now what they don't have on this label, and that's what I wanted to reprimand them about, is the fact that nowhere can I find anywhere here on the tin or on the label here that this is actually a product that has a finish in first fill bourbon and first fill sherry. So I'm going to try this, and then I'm going to tell you the story that my taste buds get when I try this. All right? So 190 euros. I can buy this for 50 euros. I can buy the standard 13 for 45 euros. I can buy the 17 for 90 euros. I can get all three, the 17, the 13, and the 13 with Armagnac, for the same price as this. 13, 13, 26, plus then 17. 43 years of whiskey I can get for the same price as just 2 years more than the 17-year-old. Remember that, please. I can get 2 bottles of the 17 for 1 bottle of the 19. Why is this whiskey with 2 years age, more of maturation, is double the price compared to the 17? All right, on the nose. I like the nose. This is a good nose. I get pears. I get apples. I get a little bit here of a vanilla. I get apricots. I get a little bit of citrus, vanilla, and I think I might get a tad bit of sulfur. Now, before my taste buds tell the story, Craigellachie use a warm tub. A warm tub is a spiral copper tube and water so that it cools down okay, you distill, which means you turn the alcohol into a vapor, and you need to condense it back down to a liquid. And you need to have an energy transfer moment. So you need to take energy out of the vapors, out of the steam, out of the alcohol vapors, and make it then chill a little bit and become a fluid again. And so warm tubs are actually the thing that we know from moonshiners and from everyone else that use that. Today we have a condenser. I forgot a condenser that's much, much better, more efficient because there's more copper contact in our modern condenser than in a warm tub. So if there is a little bit of sulfur in here, and they have massive pot stills at Craigellachie. So I knew that they had 4 pot stills. I knew they produced between 2.7 and 3.1 million liters of spirit a year if they run 24/7. How many weeks a year? That's the main factor, and if they do Sunday all 3 shifts as well. But they have 2 wash stills. Each of them have 28,185 liters. That's big. All right. Now Glenfarclas is bigger, but that's big. And the line arm is straight. So there's no. It's the distillate just goes up and goes in the warm tub. And they have very, very short cuts as well. We have a fermentation time of about 56 to 60 hours. So they have a washback with 45,000 liters. You divide the 2 washbacks up into the wash stills. Each have 28,000, no problem, boom. And then you have 2 spirit stills. And the spirit stills are exactly the same size, 28,185 liters. Now, when you distill 45,000 liters of from your washback through a wash still, you're going to basically have half of what you started with. So that's exactly the amount you need for the spirit still. Now, I'm not really sure how they actually fill the spirit stills. Do they only fill it up a quarter instead of half? What are they doing there? I mean, otherwise you could just put 2 wash stills for 1 spirit still and just run them continuously. But here they have the same size for the spirits, same size for the wash stills, and maybe that's a secret to why this whiskey is, I'm going to use the word not sulfur, I'm going to use the word meaty. All right, a little bit like a good Mortlach is meaty, also a good Craigellachie is meaty. Now, if I go over here to my Armagnac, I get more of the sulfur, and that's from the casks. That's not from the whiskey process. Now, there's been a copy and paste snippet going through the German press, at least with Craigellachie. I think the first time I saw it was about a year ago, and it says here, where was that here? Something about the yeah, okay. So the 19-year-old has notes of sulfur. They can be traced back to the use of heating oil for the malting process. I don't dig that. I don't think that 19 years ago that the heating oil used there put the sulfur into the malted barley. Now, barley has sulfur all by itself already. And that's why we want a lot of copper contact to get rid of the sulfur. And Craigellachie actually goes the opposite way. They have less, because of the warm tub, copper contact. And maybe a tiny, tiny little bit was added through the heating heating oil used to malt the barley, but I think most of the sulfur I'm getting is also with the Armagnac. It's from the cask. It's from the sherry cask and it's from the Armagnac cask. All right. So if I were to rank these on the nose, I like this much better. It's got a very, 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 very nice aroma. A very inviting moment. All right. You're still waiting for the story of my taste buds, aren't you? I'm building suspense. I'm almost there. I almost got us. All right. So, sláinte. Cheers. Hmm. 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 Oh. The entire time that I have this in my mouth, especially with the finish, it's like my taste buds say, oh, we're now at Dewar's. We're now at the Distillery Craigellachie. We're in the warehouse of Dewar's, and we have barrels that are ready for the 17-year-old Craigellachie. Someone tries them and goes, oh, they're not up to par. They're not up to our standard. Well, what can we do? This is a story that's going on in my taste buds, my head, all right? Well, let's go buy a truckload of first fill bourbon barrels. Let's go buy a truckload of first fill sherry barrels. Let's put these in there for another 2 years. Wait, fix it. That's called re-racking. Put in new wood. Hope that the new wood fixes the problems of the original 17 years of using crappy distillery wood that's been used 4 or 5 times already in Scotland, let alone the first time it was used in America. And let's hope that those 2 years will be enough that we can actually charge double the price of the 17-year-old. And everyone was like, sounds like a plan. Let's do it. And so after 2 additional years, in first fill, half of it American oak. I think it's 100% American oak. I get no European oak here. All right, so in Ex-Bourbon, first fill Ex-Bourbon and first fill American oak sherry casks, seasoned, probably hogsheads. They fill it up and charge double the price. And there's enough people out there that are willing to try it, to buy it, at least one bottle. Hey, I did it. And at the end, we have to kind of actually use reverse psychology on ourselves to say, I paid this much money. It has to be good. And to be very honest, I think that the 17-year-old is much better than this, the 19-year-old. I've had some very good 17-year-olds. But here I get that lingering old wood moment that's trying to be covered up. At the beginning, it did a good job. I mean, the vanilla was there, a little bit of the berries were there. It did a very good job of covering up for the first 3, 4, 5 seconds it was in my mouth. But then that finish. If I'm paying over 100 euros for a bottle, it should enter, it should increase, and it should go up at the finish. That's what I want in a whiskey. It's like, oh, that's worth the money. But if it enters, oh yeah, wait a second, and then it goes down with the finish, that's where I get peeved. And this whiskey peeves me. That it makes me regret spending the money on it. Now, luckily for me, I have a community over here in Germany. I put these bottles on a WhatsApp bottle share group, and they can buy the 5 or the 10 CL. And this bottle was shared almost immediately. It's like, oh, everyone thinks older it's got to be better. 19-year-old has to be better than 17-year-old. Not necessarily, as I'm demonstrating right now. And usually we think, oh, I'm not willing to pay 200 euros for the bottle, but hey, I'll pay for 5 CL. What was the price we had over here? So the 5 CL was 16 euros, 16.50, and the 10 CL was basically 30 euros. And so that's what they say, okay, good. Before I pay 200 euros, for 10 CLs, I'll just pay 30 euros, and that'll be enough. I'll share it with my friends, and we can try this. We can do tasting at home. I have people all the time buying 10 or even 20 CLs of bottles and then doing their own little private tastings at their home, inviting 4 or 5 people over, just sharing having their own private little whiskey club. And I think that is awesome. All right, I think that's so, so, so fantastic. But this is definitely not worth the price. Um, D minus minus. I'm gonna give it an F plus. There is no such as an F plus. D minus F plus for value for money. The taste is a solid C. It's not even a C plus. It's not something where I go, oh yeah. It's a C, which means if you want to, you can buy it. This is a C plus. The 17-year-old is a B plus, B plus. And the standard 13-year-old, the normal that I don't have at the moment, is actually a B minus. I literally love that one. I think for the value for money, it's still, shh, don't listen to me, doers. Shh, don't listen to me, Bacardi. Underpriced. I think it's one of the most fairly priced whiskeys out there at the moment. But prices are going up, so we'll have to see what we have at the end of the year. The maltiness is there, the creaminess, the little bit of sherry from, and a little bit of the sulfur from the sherry, a little bit of a strawberry, raspberry, like a strawberry raspberry milkshake, and then that old wood still is there at the end. If it had not been for the old wood, it would be, oh, that's like, oh, so that's nice. That's a B whiskey. But no, it's like old wood at the end. It's like having a popsicle stick the day after, and no. All right, now this whiskey is not the whiskey of my choice. I just have it here. So this is Whiskybase number. Wait a second. I have to go to my screenshot here. This is 2174229. About 49, 50 euros for this. Why do I still have this? One person ordered 10 CL, didn't pay for it, didn't get it sent, and so I still have something left here. I'll have to refill it and offer it to someone else here. 46%, 13 years old, the Bas Armagnac barrel finish. How long? Once again, we don't know, but we do know it's no chill filtering. Nowhere does it mention natural color on the bottle. Oh, it does, man. Oh, wait a second. Oh, this was the problem. Here it says no chill filtering natural color. Here, the tin that I read says only no chill filtering. They forgot to put the natural color here, but they did on the label. Thank you. Excuse me, Bacardi and Doers and Craigellachie for assuming something. Tiny little story that I'm going to end. Have you ever been at a nice little, I'm going to call it like a cafe? You can order espresso, you can order coffee, I order hot chocolate or a tea. And imagine they were trying to do something nice and they're like, here. And they put a squirt of hazelnut syrup into your drink. And some people are like, oh, that's almost like amaretto. That's so good. Thank you. It just boosted my coffee, my espresso, my hot chocolate. And when I get my hot chocolate, know exactly what I want. And when they have that, a little bit of a shot of the hazelnut syrup, it's like, oh, they actually decreased the value of that product for me because they added something I did not need. And that's what I feel here. 2/3 of the people that I know that tried this actually prefer this to the normal 13-year-old. They're like, oh, this is added value. That extra finish from Armagnac added a different layer of complexity. And I was like, no, it actually took it down. But 1/3 of the people that I have on my videos here, they agree with me. I was like, no, Jason, the normal 13 is more than enough. This actually is worse with the finish. And that's just the problem of flavor. That's just the problem of our different tastes going in different directions and what we like and what we dislike. Is this a bad whiskey? No. This whiskey actually is better than this whiskey on the palate. On the nose, I like this better, but on the palate, the 13-year-old, I prefer. Mm-hmm. Mm. I get for me a very typical Craigellachie moment, and then I get a complexity that puts it in a different. So when so here, the finish is terrible. The finish is disappointing. The finish is interesting. Is it interesting? Great. For me, no. For others, yes. And that's why this whiskey tastes, I would prefer to drink this. If there was the same price, you gave both of these to me blind, I would definitely go here. Now, I can get 4 of these for one of these. And as I said at the very beginning of the video, what I would recommend is do not buy this. Okay, if you have 200 euros, go out there, buy yourself a 17, buy yourself the 13 with the Armagnac, and buy yourself the normal 13. Take 3 glasses, put little stickers on the bottom of them so you can't see what they are. Blind taste it yourself and figure out which one do you prefer. If you prefer the 13 with the Armagnac blind the most, enjoy. If you, and this was really interesting, we did the blind tasting of the 13 and the 17 with 4 other independently bottled products from Craigellachie, so they did not know exactly which one was which. Also there, a third of the people, roughly, said that they liked the 13 more than they did the 17 blind, which of course saves money. And so 40-some euros for the 13, 50-some euros for the 13 with Armagnac, 95 euros for the 17, and then 190 for the 19. And there's actually a 37-year-old that just came out, is about 3,000 euros. All right, so thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, telling others about this crazy guy over here in Germany tasting often rare and exotic whiskey. My heart, I thoroughly enjoy the Craigellachie, but the 19-year-old just is not worth the money. Is not. As I said, buy 2 of the 17 instead. Buy the 17, the 13, the 13 Armagnac instead. Go out there and buy something else. Do not pay that surcharge of doubling the price for 2 extra, doubling the price for 2 extra years there with a little bit of fresh wood. Thank you. See you soon. Whiskey Jason. Bye-bye.